We got life in Saudi Arabia, guys. This should be a very exciting video. I'm excited for it. We're gonna see what the lifestyle of a regular person is, or what it looks like in Saudi Arabia, and hopefully we can find some really fun things in this video. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Let's go.
I've lived my entire life in the US, and I'm not gonna lie, when I was moving to Saudi Arabia like 5 years ago, I was really nervous because I didn't know what to expect, and majority of the things that I've heard about Saudi Arabia were extremely negative. Sure, we all know by now what Western media is really like, so I'm gonna give you some real facts about what it's like living in Saudi Arabia as a foreign woman. The number one is clothing. Wearing an abaya or a hijab is no longer mandatory. You're more than welcome to wear whatever you want, as long as what you're wearing is modest, and this goes for men too. You will see so many women wearing dresses and jeans, and there's even a lot of girls now wearing abayas, like open style abayas, and you can see their whole outfit. Number two is women driving. Yes, women are allowed to drive in Saudi Arabia, so you will still have that independent lifestyle that you're used to. You don't have to rely on anyone to drive you anywhere. Number three, which I think for me personally is the most important, and it's the safety and security I feel here, especially as a woman. I can't tell you how much safer I feel here in Saudi than I have ever felt in my entire life in the US. I don't have to ever worry about someone assaulting me or harassing me in any way, and I could go out for a walk at any time without the fear of being kidnapped. Number four is low crime rates. The crime rates here in Saudi are extremely low, and I think the main reason for this is the fact that they have proper rules and regulations set in place, as well as consequences that they actually follow through on, unlike other countries. It's so common to see people here leaving their belongings at their table at a restaurant or a cafe because they know that nobody is going to come and take them. Could you even imagine doing something like that back in the US? I know I could never. Number five is that it is extremely family friendly. Saudi is the best place to be for families. There is no PDA, no alcohol, and no drugs. You will see parks filled with families who are enjoying picnics even late into the night. It's just really peaceful and amazing being here and getting to experience all of this. I just feel like back in the US, everybody is just in a rush and they're just so busy with their own lives that they don't have time for each other. But here, I feel like it's the opposite. Time kind of like slows down and people actually intentionally make time for each other. It's a really refreshing change, so I would highly recommend for any foreign woman or anyone in general to definitely come check out Saudi Arabia and see for yourself what the lifestyle here is like.
All right, so one of the things that really stuck out to me at the beginning is women couldn't drive in the past in Saudi Arabia. Is that even a thing? Like, women couldn't drive? I didn't even know that. That's one of the biggest facts that I found out from her video. Women weren't able to drive. So when do women get their driving rights? I know in Saudi Arabia they're really strict with like the clothing and many of the other things that she mentioned, but the fact that women couldn't drive as of recently, I did not know that. If you guys know when women started driving in Saudi Arabia, please let me know in the comment section. I would appreciate that. Another thing she mentioned in the video as well, she said that she feels a lot more safer as a woman in Saudi Arabia. And some of you guys might disagree with me when I say this. Some of you guys might disagree with me in the comment section, and that's okay because you do not have to agree with me. Everybody has their own opinion. But I'm just gonna say this. The reason why Saudi Arabia is so much safer is because they have some of these really strict rules, such as the way people are dressing. Like, in my opinion, if you don't dress a certain way and appeal to people in a certain way, you won't attract the wrong crowd. So I feel like the reason why it feels a lot safer there is because they have these strict rules in order to make sure humans don't act like the way they do. Because us humans, yes, having freedom as a human being is important, and it's good to have, freedom and be able to do whatever you want. But if you don't have certain restrictions and certain things in place in order to, contain people would just do reckless things and just, do whatever they want. For example, in the US, a couple years back, we had people going to Washington, D.C. and literally climbing over fences in the Capitol, like doing crazy things like that and no consequences. Like, stuff like that happens in the US all the time. Imagine something like that happening in Saudi Arabia or a different country. Like, I couldn't even imagine what that would look like. But it's just, I feel like Saudi Arabia, although a lot of people might disagree with like some of the restrictions and some of the things that happen on there and why they're so strict, but I feel like these things are in place in order to keep human beings, you know, just in place. Because once we get a little bit freedom, we start to test things, and that's just in our nature, our human beings. Like, we just want to do whatever we feel like, but that cannot happen. If we could just do whatever we want, then people wouldn't be in danger like some of these other countries, like, you know what I mean? And so that really stood out to me. And then one of the things she said is she just feels like life is just a lot slower there, and like it's really family oriented. And I think that's just, a lot of countries always feel that way. And America is like a business country, so capitalist. Like, everybody just is just trying to make money and, you know, focused on business. And so, you know, that's really cool. Saudi Arabia is one of the countries that I want to visit. But some of the facts that she dropped on here was just shocking. The fact that women weren't able to drive as of recently, that's actually pretty shocking to me. That's crazy.
You'd rather live in Saudi Arabia than New York.
You guys don't have a clue.
No?
You don't
Really?
have a clue.
Really?
No. Bro, like, you're talking zero crime rate. You're talking zero taxes. You're talking amazing amenities, fantastic infrastructure, incredible communities, fantastic schools. The company you work for paying for your child's education up to college level. You're talking about free healthcare. You're talking about fantastic weather.
But is this specifically in expat communities, you said?
Yeah, so this part,
Okay.
but a lot of what I'm talking about is the whole country. Saudi Arabia has no taxes, period. Okay? The infrastructure around the cities, even if you're talking Riyadh, Jeddah, etc., it's excellent. Very extraordinarily low crime rates. Like, you are safer in any Saudi city than you are in any major city in the U.S. by miles. Not even comparable. By miles.
There is no liquor there, right? It's not
Alcohol free.
Yeah.
The thing is, I knew people in I don't even know if I even knew that Saudi Arabia was tax-free. But how does that work? If the country is like tax-free and people don't get taxed, like, my question to people who live in Saudi Arabia or have any information about like lifestyle in Saudi Arabia, like, how do people pay to get the streets fixed? Like, how do people pay to get, you know, things done inside the country? Like, how do people who don't have any money, like, who are homeless, how do they get like assistance? Like, is there social security assistance? Like, since they don't take taxes from people, like, is there support for people who may not have a lot of money? That's my first question, because that's shocking. I can't imagine living in a country where you don't get taxed. One. And then two, the second thing he said is free healthcare. I need to move there right now, ASAP, bro. Free healthcare? If this is true, let me know in the comment section, because I ain't know there was free healthcare in Saudi Arabia. I need to go, because healthcare here in the United States, outrageous. We're talking about almost $200, $300 a month. Absolutely crazy. So I need to go see what they're talking about. And one of the last things that he mentioned in this video was free education from your employer. So students get free education up to college. So I can put my kid like in a private school and let him get free education. I think that's a game changer. I just want to know how they're able to do all these things. Like, who's paying for that? If the person's getting free education, who's paying for it? And then the going back to the tax-free thing, how are people not paying taxes? Like, how is the country look so nice, look so presentable, everything is so clean, and people are not paying taxes? I just want to know, is everything already taxed and you're already paying what's taxed, or is it just no taxes at all? Like, I need to know how that even works. So if you guys could explain that to me in the comment section, like, I would appreciate that, because if that's true and I'm not paying taxes, bro, I'm taking a flight tomorrow to Saudi and I'm coming. I'm on my way.
As a Brit living in Saudi, these are some of the things I wish I knew before moving here. So the first one, I know it's common sense, but I wish I learned some basic Arabic before coming here. Although some of the locals speak English, especially in professional settings, I do find it the hardest when communicating with Uber drivers, delivery drivers. Those are the ones that I find the hardest. But I do plan to learn some Arabic this year, just to make my life easier. As an expat, I wish I knew about compounds and that you don't need an Iqamah to rent an apartment. You can just live in a compound. Compounds in Riyadh allow some flexibility, and you pretty much have the same amenities that you would have back home. The only con is that you don't get to live with the locals. You don't get to see what it's like life is like living in Saudi. I would have never guessed, but the diversity in the types of cuisine they have in Saudi is huge. We often talk about London being a melting pot and you can get any type of food in London, but that's pretty much the same case in Saudi. I can get any type of food that I want here, and they pretty much have all the chains that they have in America. They have Raising Cane's, they have Wingstop, everything, they have it here. So I live in Riyadh, and it's very much a late night city. A lot of the things and a lot of the shops open later and close later compared to London. I mean, in London on Sundays, a lot of the stores close at 4 p.m. Whereas here, because the temperature is hotter during the day, they tend to leave things open till 1 a.m., 3 a.m. sometimes. That's just because half of the year is just far too hot to go out and do anything anyway. So a lot of things are open till about 1 a.m. I mean, you find some malls that are open till about 1 or 2 a.m. here. The coffee shop scene is very big here. It's basically their version of going out. You find a coffee shop opening nearly every month or so, and that's why the coffee shops are so pretty. They're very detailed and the decors are so beautiful, and pretty much that's where you find the locals relaxing, meeting friends, taking meetings, anything in the coffee shop. There's a lot of things to do in Saudi, especially in the winter. They have a lot of activities. The winter is pretty much when the country comes alive, especially in Riyadh. I don't know about any other cities, but in the city that I live in, the winter, you're spoiled for choice. There's 2 big holidays here every year, and they're pretty much centered around Eid, compared to the UK where you have bank holidays, you have holidays around Easter, you have holidays around Christmas. Here, Christmas is business as usual, and so is Easter. There's no holidays for those. And obviously we know, because as a Muslim country, they don't celebrate those holidays. I wish that I knew that I needed a proper jacket for the winters in Riyadh. The temperatures can drop up to like 5 degrees in the winter, and in the summer it can go up to 50 degrees. But at least during the day, there's sun in the winter, so that's a plus for me. Another thing I wish I knew, which makes complete sense, is that there's no public healthcare here, like the NHS that we have back in the UK. Everything is pretty much private. But the best thing about the private healthcare is that you can literally get an appointment for an important procedure today, and then walk into the hospital the following week and have that procedure, which we're not used to in the UK. We don't have that anymore. I wish I didn't listen to people that were telling me you have to cover your hair, you have to wear a scarf, you have to wear this, and you can't do this and you can't do that. There is absolutely no need for the fear-mongering. You have to respect the traditions and you have to respect the culture, but you absolutely do not need to be covered from head to toe. And I wish I knew that, because my wardrobe coming here would have been different. Pretty much I can wear anything that I want as long as my shoulders, body parts are covered, and I can still look stylish. So by the way the city is built, it doesn't really encourage a lot of outdoor activities like walking, cycling and stuff like that. But that's also down to the fact that half of the year you can't really do that anyway, because it's actually unsafe, because it's just way too hot. So I wish I knew I wouldn't be able to enjoy my walks like I did back in the UK, but you can go to local parks, which for me is a little bit too far and it doesn't hit the same. The country's been opened up to more tourists now, so there's a lot more things to do here than people actually think. If you think Saudi can be boring, that's far from the truth. There's a lot of concerts happening, there's a lot of festivals happening, and they're catering to all types of music.
She said a lot in that video, so I'm going to try to break down a little bit of the things. Obviously, she talked about the way you're supposed to be dressed, and I respect the fact that she said that there's so many different cultures out there. And that's with a lot of people, but when you go out to a different country and they have a different set of rules and they do things differently, just respect the culture, bro. Like, respect their culture, respect what they're doing out there. Obviously, you know, you're a guest, you're a visitor of their country. So if they tell you just to cover up like your shoulders or whatever the case may be, just do that. Because I feel like a lot of people get annoyed or try to act out when they go to different countries, and that's just, you just look goofy, bro. You just look goofy, you look dumb when you're going to someone else's country and you're just acting ignorant and just are not listening and doing stuff, and then you get in trouble and something happens to you, bro. Like, you know what I mean? That's just crazy. One of the other things she mentioned is how hot it gets over there. She mentioned there's literally no places to walk or no parks because of how hot it gets half of the year. I don't know if I could live with that. Like, I like being outside. I like doing things. I like being active, you know, playing soccer or, you know, or like going out with friends and being outside. Like, I'm an outdoor person if it's nice outside. But the fact that she says a lot of people aren't outside because of how hot it is, that makes me think, like, how hot does it really get out there? Like, I'm actually kind of scared. So you guys can let me know in the comment section. But she said she didn't have a bad experience. You know, she's coming from Europe and staying there, And so those are some really, really great facts that she mentioned out there. She said it's a huge melting pot of like just different cultures and different people. So a lot of people make it seem like it's scary, like to go out there. You know, me being a Muslim myself, and I've been practicing my deen the whole life, I would love to see what the Eid celebration, because she mentioned they only have 2 celebrations, Muslims, which we do is only 2 of them. I would love to see what the country is like when they're doing their Eid celebrations, and just to see what those festivities are like. I bet it's just absolutely crazy out there. That's probably one of the main reasons why I would want to go and visit out there, besides just all the beautiful structure and stuff they have out there. So that was a really good video. I got some really good facts from that for sure.
This is a Friday night in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. First of all, shocked at how many like Western chains they have, from Earth Cafe to Joe and the Juice. It was definitely a vibe, this place. This is kind of considered like their financial district, but it really lights up at night with restaurants and coffee shops. At one point, we got told by security to stopping, like you're not allowed to stop, you just have to keep walking. I guess maybe they don't want people congregating too much, I'm not really sure, but I was definitely impressed by this place. It's very new, the lighting here was really, really nice, and I think that added a lot to the aesthetic. The restaurants here are very pricey, and apparently a lot of office workers come here during the weekdays, also home of Saudi Aramco.
Wow, the fact that security told him to stop stopping was funny. One quick question I want to know, for people who live in Saudi Arabia, or you know, that work there, what is the pay like? What are careers like, and what is the pay like for an average person? Let's say the average person, you know, just a regular job, what is the minimum wage, and what is the cost of living out there in Saudi Arabia? I would really like to know what that looks like, just so I have an idea of what it is over there compared to what it's like here in the US. So if anybody lives out there, has been out there, and you know what the minimum wage or what the pay is, and also just like what the cost of living for an average person, like a single person, what that would look like, I really appreciate it, because the city looks great, and those buildings, all the buildings look fancy. Maybe this is just like the downtown area, and maybe I could do a different video of just seeing what actual homes look like. I would definitely like to know like what that would look like, and just what the cost of living is out there. Like, is it possible to have a good lifestyle without making a ton of money out in Saudi Arabia? Like, could that happen?
Culture shocks in Saudi Arabia, part 1. Shabab bin Nat, Saudi Arabia is very different to the UK, and here are some of the things that completely surprised me. 1, you live with your parents until you're married. I want this. My mum tried to be like, Masalama, as soon as I finish uni. But here they're like, Yalla habibi, stay with me until you get married. I'll find you a good wife. But this is not fair. I want to live with my parents. I don't want to be responsible. 2, driving. Before women could drive 2 years ago, you would see their children driving them around. I'm like, this kid looks too young to even drive, and he's driving his mum around. Like, this was just absurd to me. But seriously, I would love to drive my mum around at that age. I would feel so freaking cool. And 3, I don't get this to this day, how much they love rain. I don't understand it. I woke up every single day, seeing outside, miserable rain, walking to school and getting soaking wet. But here, they dance outside in it like it comes every year. Well, it does only come once a year, so I guess it does make sense. But seriously, Shabab bin Nat, do you love the rain that much? Because I prefer the heat.
Oh man, that's a good video. That's a good video. It really doesn't rain in Saudi Arabia, man. It basically is like a desert out there. So I probably would assume like why it's so hot is because you're in a desert, and I doubt that it's gonna rain a lot in a desert. That's why it's a desert. One of the things that he mentioned also was like people live with their, you know, parents until they get married. That's kind of one of the things that happens in my culture too, guys. Believe it or not, a lot of Muslim cultures, like the guys or the women stay with the parents until they decide like they want to get married. And the reason why, for my culture, maybe other cultures could speak for themselves, is because like you're supposed to support your family or your parents until you're able to get married, and then you can go and support your own family. So maybe that's the same thing they do out there. I'm pretty sure, because I'm a Muslim, and it's, you know, Saudi Arabia is a Muslim country, and so maybe that might be the reason. And he also touched on like women not being able to park until like 2 years ago. I don't know when he made this video, but it looks like it was probably done like recently. So that's crazy. I'm still shocked that women were not allowed to drive. Like why weren't women allowed to drive? I need that question answered. If you guys can give me a answer to that question, why aren't women allowed to drive? Like that's just shocking to me. I really don't understand that. If you guys could answer that, that would be really, really great. But yeah, those are some really good facts.
I am going to take you to a place that you never knew existed in a country that you probably thought was only vast desert lands. This country is Saudi Arabia, and our first stop began when we took a flight to the southwest corner of the country and found ourselves in a place called Abha. Abha is a city inside the Asir province, which sits just 2.5 hours away from the Yemen and Saudi border, giving the region a cultural influence from both countries. I need to get myself a fresh haircut. Ooh, yeah, that is better. So next, we checked into this retro yet modern hotel in Asir.
We got those old school digs up here.
And then we set off into the mountains on a road trip through windy roads, and along the way, the views were surreal, and we even encountered some monkeys that I decided to speak Arabic to.
صباح الخير. كيفكن؟ تمام؟ شالله منيحة؟ بدكن أكل؟
Once we got to the base of the mountains, we arrived to a place known as Rijal Al-Ma, which is the beautiful 900-year-old village sitting in a valley surrounded by lush green mountains. We were welcomed into a local man's home who's known as Ibrahim, and he shared with us local delicacies and explained the culture and significance of why people in this region wear a flower crown. After that, we walked across the street to explore the mesmerizing Rojal Heritage Village that is a similar color tone to gingerbread houses and a style I have never seen before in over 60 countries that I've explored. Now it's time to head further into the mountains along some windy roads and visit the El Malak Fort.
وصلت لجبل بجنوب سعودي. We're right here at the fort. أهلا وسهلا.
Upon arrival, we were greeted with so much energy from the Assyri tribe of Tehama.
السلام عليكم يا خيي. كيف كل شيء؟ كيف حالك؟ شرفنا شو اسمك؟ اسمي مديش.
They welcomed us and very quickly taught us their dance moves, and had Mabel and I join in. These guys we met had hearts of gold. After a beautiful sunset at the fort and said our goodbyes, we took a road back up the mountains and found ourselves at a local spot for some mifa bread, which was absolutely delicious. And we had to check out the famous produce that comes from this region.
I've never seen white pumpkins.
The next morning, we were lucky enough to have the opportunity to meet the food legend and mega Saudi blogger Hisham Bashan, who introduced us to the culinary flavors of Saudi. There are so many recipes. We only got a very small taste of it, and we're going to have to come back for more soon.
Oh, if I ever go to Saudi, I need to go to where he went to, bro, because the sighting over there, the landscape, the buildings were just absolutely beautiful, and all the people in that video seemed very, very nice. So I enjoyed this video. I don't know if you guys enjoyed this video, but I absolutely enjoyed this video. If you guys are new, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what country I should look at next. What country should I look at? What country should I review next? Let me know in the comment section. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Saudi Arabia, I hope to come out there someday and enjoy some of the beautiful food you guys have, the beautiful cities, the beautiful, you know, structures and just everything. I hope to come out there someday. But leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.